Good morning, all honored guests. Good morning, and fellow veterans. I can't tell you how honored I feel today to be asked to speak at this ceremony. I grew up attending many of these types of ceremonies as a young boy. I was born not long after the end of World War II, and in those days, events of this type were very well attended, which it is today. My father was a proud American. He was a member of what they called the greatest generation. Joe Aeillo served in the Army in World War II and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He instilled in me patriotism that persuaded me to enter the armed forces. The United States World War II veterans, a number once 16 million strong, are now at an estimate less than 2 million. And they are dying at a rate of 30,000 a month. Today we remember the 14 million who have gone before us, and we salute their sacrifice. I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps out of high school in 1966. I went to boot camp at Parris Island, South Carolina. Upon graduation, I was deployed to Vietnam in the I Corps area just south of the demilitarized zone, or what they call the DMZ. I was honorably discharged in 1969 with the rank of sergeant. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the Vietnam War. There will be a lot of ceremonies across the country today. American flags will be flying. There will be military gun salutes. But do we really know what today is all about? Memorial Day is a federal holiday, but it's much more than that. It is much more than that. Memorial Day is a solemn day of remembrance, reserved for the words and thoughts, accommodations, appreciations, and respect. It is a day of reflection for our community and our nation. A time for due recognition of the brave actions and courageous efforts of men and women in our armed services. It's a day we set aside and honor the men and women who have died in the service of this great country. The memorial in Memorial Day has been ignored by too many of us who are beneficiaries of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. When Roger asked me to say a few words at today's ceremony, my first thoughts were, how am I going to talk about my fellow buddies who have died? I'm not going to. I know what their country meant to them, and I know what they have meant to the country. As Lincoln said 150 years ago, they gave their last full measure of devotion. A day or night doesn't go by that I don't think about them, and how lucky I was to have made it through, and how after 45 years I'm able to enjoy life. I pray that God takes care of them in a way that we were not able to. Thank you, Lord. You know, I've heard many people come up to me and say, Happy Memorial Day. There's nothing happy about it. I hear people say, thank you for serving. That's okay. You're welcome. But today is not for me. Memorial Day is for the deceased, not the living. Veterans Day is for the living. Today we all should stop and say a prayer for all our comrades in arms who died in the service of our country. It's their day. Today I also would like to salute all families who have lost a loved one. You know, the United States has been in many conflicts and wars, but we're still the greatest country on earth. Americans in its duty will always remember them by conducting ceremonies like this on Memorial Day. It's important to let the families know that we appreciate and respect their loved ones who accepted the call of duty and gave up their lives for this country. I ask the younger generation to remember this day always. Those we honor today sacrificed their lives in defense of our freedom. Sources put that number in all wars for more than 1.3 million people. I hope to see all of you here again next year. As a veteran who feels very strong about showing our appreciation at Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies, I feel it's very important for me to do more than just talk. I plan to walk the walk, and I hope you will join me. As I ask you to make a pledge that you will come back next year, and that you will bring a friend, and I ask that your friend come back next year, in 2014 also, and you can each bring a friend. And that's how we'll build a crowd to rightfully honor those who gave their lives so we can remain free. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your listening. And always remember that someone gave their life so we can stand here this morning and be free. God bless America.